In the heart of Turin, where the black and white stripes carry the weight of history, a new whisper began to echo through corridors of power. Juventus, a club rebuilding its identity after seasons of turbulence and transition, had fixed its gaze on a name that needed no introduction: Kevin De Bruyne, Napoli's undisputed architect of beauty on the pitch. The idea seemed impossible at first. De Bruyne was not just Napoli's playmaker, he was their rhythm, their heartbeat, the mind that made blue flames dance across Serie A. His passes cut through defenses like sunlight through curtains, delicate yet devastating. Naples adored him, saw him not as a foreign star, but as one of their own. Children wore his number, vendors in Spaccanapoli toasted his goals. The city hummed to his creativity. But Juventus has always been a club that thrives in ambition that others dare not touch. Behind closed doors at Cantonassa, meetings stretched late into the night. Scouts pored over tactical diagrams, financial strategists examined spreadsheets, and the sporting director spoke of an era-defining signing. Juventus wanted more than a strong squad, they wanted a symbol, a statement to Italy and Europe alike. And De Bruyne represented elegance, leadership, and mastery. In Naples, the rumors arrived like slow-moving waves, first in newspapers, then on radio talk shows, then shouted across cafes. Some laughed at the possibility, some felt fear, some felt betrayal at the mere suggestion. Napoli's president, a man known for his stubborn pride, dismissed the whispers publicly, but privately, concerns grew. De Bruyne was nearing a stage in his career where legacy mattered more than comfort. Juventus offered him not only a project, but a throne from which he could sculpt his final years, among legends like Pirlo, Platini, and Del Piero. At the Juventus training center, the coach spoke passionately about the vision. He described how De Bruyne would stand at the center of a new tactical empire, wingbacks flying forward, midfield pivots shielding him, forwards darting into space that he would conjure from air. The players who listened felt a spark. This was not just theory, this was belief. Meanwhile, De Bruyne himself walked the Napoli shoreline at dusk, thoughts heavy. The cheers of fans still echoed in his memory, yet so did the inner yearning of a champion who always wants one more chapter, one more mountain. Under the soft lights of Turin, where football history hangs in the air like incense in an ancient cathedral, Juventus was quietly constructing a new dream. The club had known glory, had tasted triumph, had raised legends, but in recent years, they longed for a figure who could once again shape destiny with the ball at his feet. And that name, whispered first behind closed doors, then in corridors, then in stadium seats across Italy, was Kevin De Bruyne. The idea seemed bold, too bold, some said. De Bruyne was not just any player, he was a conductor of tempo, a sculptor of space, a footballer who saw angles that others never even imagined. Even at 33, his passes cut through defenses like poetry etched with a blade. But Juventus had always believed that football was not won by the young alone. Football was won by the intelligent, the experienced, the ones who knew the difference between a moment and the moment. Cristiano Giuntoli, Juventus sporting architect, sat in long discussions with Max Allegri, or whoever the manager was depending on the moment of Juventus cycle, speaking in low tones of ambition, vision, and consequence. The club was rebuilding, not chaotically, but with the patience of someone, restoring a masterpiece brick by brick. The midfield needed fire, needed imagination, needed someone who could turn a tight match into a story of inevitability. And De Bruyne, calm, brilliant, relentless, was the answer that felt almost divine. His name first entered the Juventus boardroom as a suggestion, subtle and almost impossible, a dream more than a plan. The kind of idea that makes even seasoned directors exhale just a little sharper. De Bruyne was not merely a footballer. He was an architect of rhythm, a painter whose touch turned grass into canvas and defenders into shadows. He was the passer of impossible passes, the man who saw futures unfold before the present had taken shape. But greatness, like history, is drawn toward places where legacy calls. The Juventus sporting department had been wrestling with the reality of rebuilding. The club longed to return to the throne it once occupied, not through chaos or reckless signings, but by shaping a side that blended wisdom with hunger. They remembered the elegance Pirlo once brought, the fire Tevez carried, The grace of Pogba in his first Turin years, the unstoppable authority of Cristiano Ronaldo. Each era had an identity. Now, a new one needed a leader, not just a performer, a conductor. Whispers about De Bruyne did not come from desperation, but conviction. Juventus wanted a midfielder who could give them clarity, structure, imagination, someone who could dictate the story of a match rather than simply participate in it. And so, discreet channels opened, carefully worded inquiries were exchanged. Respect guided every step, because a player of De Bruyne's stature was not to be persuaded, but invited. Meanwhile, De Bruyne found himself at an introspective stage in his own journey. His trophy cabinet already glittered with victories, league titles, domestic cups, European nights ablaze with brilliance. He had played alongside world-class teammates, had heard stadiums chant his name across continents, and yet, deep inside, he understood that the final chapters of a career carry the most emotional weight. They determine what a player leaves behind, not merely in medals, but in memory. What if Turin was where he could become the soul of a team again? The idea did not frighten him. It fascinated him. He knew of Juventus history, the iron mentality, the relentless discipline, the belief that football was not just competition, but culture. He had watched Pirlo command games with serenity, watched Buffon stand like a guardian of eternity, watched Chiellini bleed loyalty into every blade of grass. A club like that did not ask for followers, it asked for leaders.